Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A Hobart woman who stabbed her partner to death during a drunken dispute 3 years ago has been sentenced to nearly 2 decades behind bars, but she could be out within 7 years. Justice Wood telling the court the 56-year-old had a moment of rage but showed remorse soon after.
A housing complex tucked away on Harrington Street turning into the scene of a violent crime 3 years ago. 51-year-old Benjamin Harris found stabbed to death on March 9. His accused killer and former partner, 56-year-old Annette Louise Hancock, learning her fate this afternoon. Ms Hancock was last year found guilty of killing Mr Harris with a kitchen knife following a drunken argument. Today she was sentenced 19 years in prison. With time served, she'll be eligible for parole in 7 years. The court heard Ms Hancock had only just been released from prison for breaching a family violence order involving the victim when the murder occurred. Justice Wood telling the court Ms Hancock was homeless, relying on Mr Harris for accommodation, saying her lifestyle was chaotic. The court heard the couple engaged in a verbal altercation while intoxicated after Mr Harris admitted to infidelity. Justice Wood told the court Ms Hancock allegedly became enraged, stabbing the left side of his lower back. The defendant's actions were a spur-of-the-moment. Emotions were heightened and extremely intoxicated. Ms Hancock allegedly telling police at the time she intended to cut him, not cause death, saying, "I didn't mean to kill him, I didn't know how sharp the knife was." Justice Wood saying she was remorseful. She showed immediate regret in her actions. After what's been a lengthy sentence hearing following several delays, Ms Hancock appeared teary and remorseful in the dock as Justice Wood handed down her sentence. Rebecca Gadaneris at 7 Tasmania News.
A world-leading AI facility is taking shape in northern Tasmania, set to create 100 direct jobs. The multi-billion-dollar project promises to be one of the most energy-efficient AI data centres on the planet.
Tasmania's green renewable energy and connectivity was what attracted AI company Firmus to northern Tasmania.
AI is driving up the consumption of data centres, energy use around the world substantially. It's important that we start to advocate for green AI and sustainable AI.
Firmus's new AI factory in St Leonard's, called Southgate, is set to be one of the most energy efficient in the world, consuming up to 60% less power and costing up to 50% less to build than traditional data centres.
So with Southgate, we're using Tasmania's hydro and wind and solar energy to power this new type of factory.
What it does is it takes electricity and it basically puts it through a large farm of interconnected servers, and it produces what are called AI tokens.
The tokens are essentially knowledge building blocks and are used for AI tools like ChatGPT and gaming and content creation. The innovation putting Tasmania firmly on the world stage.
What we have here is just not a new investment or a new business, but an entirely new industry here in Tasmania.
While Labor backs the news, questions remain around the state's capacity to provide enough power.
We need more power, which means we need to change the way that planning's done in this state. We need to make sure we can get more generation into the grid so we can back businesses like Boyer.
The company has poured $2.1 billion into stage 1 of the project, aiming to go live next year, with construction already getting underway, expected to create up to 100 jobs.
That's actually a very tight turnaround for an AI factory. This AI factory is going to have up to 16,000 Grace Blackwell 300 GPUs.
For those not fluent in tech,
that is going to be Australia's largest AI infrastructure project many times over. We'll have something very special to show the world.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Labor is favourite to take the reins on July 19, according to a new poll, which is still predicting a hung parliament. The Premier hopes a health blitz is enough to help turn the tide.
Anybody's hopes of forming majority government have never seemed further away. A YouGov poll shows 34% of Tasmanians voting Labor, 3 points ahead of the Liberals, but they're both eclipsed by a combined 35% preferring a Green or other candidate.
We need people to vote Labor so that we can change the government.
We cannot afford is a Labor-Green government, more deals, more delays.
With a health system on life support, the Premier is bringing forward the first stage of the North West Hospital's master plan and promising to hit go on an extra $117 million worth of upgrades ahead of schedule.
New inpatient facilities, better cancer services and, of course, a much-needed car park to cater for the expansion, of course, of this facility.
Welcome news for Burnie local Grant Howe, who was recently forced to fly himself to Victoria for cancer treatment.
I was very lucky I could get some money and use the credit card. Some people can't, and what choices do they have?
Recently accused of having a shadow cabinet on their L plates, Labor leader Dean Winter hit the road with a P plater, promising apprentices half-price vehicle rego.
For you, you'll save $300 a year as an apprentice.
And freezing increases for 12 months for the rest of us.
Make sure that they're able to pay the bills and really demonstrate to Tasmanians that we understand the pressure that they're under.
A fierce opponent of Marinus Link, Braddon Independent Craig Garland wants that money to fund more community batteries and solar panels on homes in low-income areas.
And this is where the future is. It's isolating to the areas concerned, producing their own power, storing it in battery, and they're self-sufficient.
From today, politicians must declare donations over $1,000, but it doesn't cover any cash already raked in by parties over the first 3 weeks of the campaign.
We should be seeing all donations made public, and we have to see that so that Tasmanians can be informed and know who's behind their politicians.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
10 streetlights and multiple driver information boards along the Tasman Highway have been damaged and copper wiring stolen by vandals. The incident near the Hobart Airport is believed to have happened on Sunday night. Crews from Tas Networks and State Growth today working to restore power. Authorities are urging anyone with information about the theft to come forward. A former reality TV wife has unloaded on her former on-screen husband. Jackie Burfoot was back in a Launceston court this morning after being granted an interim restraining order against Ryan Donnelly.
Anyone who has followed my life closely knows that I've moved on. I have a young audience online. Many are impressionable and still learning what healthy relationships and boundaries look like. It is deeply important to me that they do not see this kind of behaviour as acceptable or tolerated.
The reality star now lives in Tasmania with fiancé and fellow contestant Clint Rice. Donnelly has filed his own application for an apprehended violence order against Burfoot in Sydney. A date for mediation has been set for September. Independent MLC Meg Webb is sounding the alarm over whether the state government's failure to meet a June 30 planning deadline for the Macquarie Point Stadium is in breach of the deal with the AFL.
Does that mean the agreement is now null and void? Do we have to renegotiate? And if so, we should be asking ourselves what elements of the deal can and should be renegotiated.
Premier Jeremy Rockcliffe says Tasmania is not in breach, confirming the AFL understands the state is in caretaker mode and will allow for extended deadlines. Vision Australia is hoping to train 22 seeing eye dog pups with the help of the Tasmanian community. It's partnering with Pet Barn for the annual Seeing Eye Dogs appeal, aiming to raise more than $1 million.
They might not seem like it, but these pups will soon have a very important job. They're just a week into their Seeing Eye Dog training.
Obviously, they've got a long way to go, almost 2 years of training before they're matched to a person who's blind or has low vision.
When they're ready, they'll be provided free of charge through the NDIS. But their training does come at a cost.
Each dog is $50,000 plus. We're hoping to raise $1.1 million this year.
Vision Australia is partnering with Pet Barn stores across the country to reach the lofty goal. And the need has never been greater, with vision impairment already affecting 450,000 Australians, and that's growing by over 12,000 every year. For many, having a seeing eye dog can be life-changing.
Using a cane or sighted guide can be quite segregating for someone who's blind or has low vision, but when you're the only person in a room that has a dog, you become like the most popular person in that room.
Actually just gives them full access to live a fuller life with an amazing companion by their side.
Last year they raised $1.3 million. This year they're hoping to beat that goal. So come into your local pet barn to donate and show that anything is pausable.
We see the bond between all our customers and their dogs, and the Seeing Eye dogs take that bond to a next level, and it's just amazing.
Billy Gibbons, 7 Tasmania News.
In a bid to further ease pressure on the local emergency department, the Launceston Urgent Care Clinic is extending its hours. From today, the Wellington Street surgery will open its doors at 9 a.m 7 days a week, a move being labelled a game changer for sick patients and their families.
When something's truly urgent, it couldn't always wait to 2 o'clock till we opened. So now that if you've got a cut that needs suturing, or you've got a child in a lot of pain, or someone sick, it's so nice to be able to see them when they need to be seen.
This is helping relieve pressure on the busy emergency department and the staff who are working at the hospital. It's also providing more timely access to healthcare for people who need it.
Already treating more than 33,000 people, the clinic is now expecting to double its patient load. School holidays are just days away and Launceston Airport is bracing for an influx of travellers. More than 60,000 passengers are expected to pass through over the coming weeks as a winter tourism boom drives up demand.
It's a great place to be. So that word is getting around, and we're getting a lot of families coming down for the traditional fly drive holidays.
The terminal is still undergoing a major revamp, but local eatery Live Eat has opened its doors just in time for the rush.
Excited to have something different in Launceston Airport. Obviously there's quite a lot of work going on, and we're all excited to see where that takes the airport and gives it a facelift.
July 20 is predicted to be the busiest day with around 4,500 travellers.
After losing to them twice in the past 2 years, there's extra fire in Saturday's Women's State game as Tasmania prepares to face Queensland, reigniting a rivalry that dates back more than a century.
I think it'll always be a tough match. Hopefully, we all go out and have that determination that I think we all do.
With a chilly top of 13 degrees forecast in Latrobe, the home side sees the icy conditions as their edge.
It'll be definitely a shock, I think, for Queensland, weather-wise, coming from Surfers Paradise. They might have to bring a couple of layers of thermals, I reckon.
The women's match kicks off at midday on Saturday, followed by the men's game in the afternoon. The excitement of last year's BBL final still lingers for the Hurricanes skipper. Adding to the celebration though, Nathan Ellis revealed some joyful news from home. He and his wife are expecting their first child, a baby boy due in October.
We actually found out on the field after the final. So what was one of the greatest nights of my career turned to probably the greatest night of my life.
The Purple Army won't have to wait long for a finals rematch. The Canes will open their campaign against Sydney Thunder at Ninja Stadium. The full season fixture will be released later this week. Nearly 80 of Tasmania's most promising junior rugby union players are preparing to head to the mainland next week after being selected to represent the state at the national championships in Queensland and South Australia.
Pretty nervous. Obviously coming from Tassie, being the smallest state, it's always a big responsibility to show up for the state.
I'm always happy to go play against some higher level teams, I guess.
Almost a third of the group are from the Taroona Rugby Club. And here's a name for racing fans to keep an eye on. Tassie apprentice jockey Jackson Radley riding his first Victorian winner aboard Idle on By at Pakenham yesterday afternoon. The 19-year-old backing it up with his second win just a few races later. He eyes off a career across Bass Strait, but he was straight back for track work at Longford this morning.
Good to hear. Thank you, Nick. Well, the weather is next with Kaya.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston both managed 10 degrees today, 11 in Devonport and 13 in Burnie. The islands taking out the top of 14, Smithton and St Helens both 13, 12 in Strawn, Grove 11, 10 at Friendly Beaches, 9 the top at Low Head, Bushy Park 7, 5 in Lyowini, with -8 the overnight low as those below freezing conditions continue across parts of the state. Low cloud was seen about the southwest of Tasmania with mostly clear skies elsewhere. High cloud covered the southeast of the nation, which extended over the state this afternoon. Tomorrow, the high centre will shift across northeastern SA and extends over the majority of the continent, including the west and south of Tasmania. South-southeasterly winds across all coastal waters tomorrow, increasing up to 25 knots in the east and west, swells building to 4 metres in the south. A strong wind warning has been issued for coastal waters tomorrow between east of Flinders Island to Wineglass Bay. A few showers in Hobart tomorrow, 12, Geeveston 12, also after a morning frost, followed by possible showers, much the same in Bothwell with just 8 degrees. Showers backing off in Launceston, 11, maybe a few showers in Devonport and Cressy, 11 also. Showery across Burnie, 12, 12 in Strawn, but cloudy there, a high chance of showers in Curry, 14 the maximum. Rain in St Helens, 13, 13 as well in Swansea with showers, a few showers too in Alford, 12's the top. A foggy and frosty start to kick off Thursday, followed by light showers about the east, but that should clear in the afternoon. Another frost on Friday with light showers expected about the west and northwest. And on Saturday, light showers about the north and west, but mainly fine elsewhere. Here's how Wednesday is shaping up across the country tomorrow. Raining in Melbourne, 14, a morning frost in Alice Springs, warming to 21 later, 19 in Brisbane, fine, although becoming windy. Cloudy across the state right now, 7 in Hobart, also Launceston and 8 in Devonport. Well, Kim, I've decided to hit the road tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you from a different location.
Okay, you're off to the tropics too. Thanks, Kaya. That wraps up tonight's news. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night, everyone.